Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Abogang and the channel's name is ThroughEllesEyes. So this is basically part 2 of the trilogy that I spoken of in my previous entry. But essentially it's part 1 of my acne treatment journey. And I just am very excited that I get to sit down and chat to you guys about it. You know, I'm really just, I hope that this video gets to not only empower but enlighten someone out there of the various options that they can use to make sure that they deal or fix their skin or acne problems. So without any further ado, let me get straight into it. Just a disclaimer, I'm going to be looking down into my notes because I've got a notepad and I've got some of the information on my phone. So every now and again, if I do look down, just know that I am looking at the content that is in my notepad purely because I want to keep the information as coherent as possible so that I don't jumble up my thoughts and I make sure that everything just is consistent and I don't confuse neither you or myself. So I think I've shared a bit of background on my skin treatment journey, but I just want to go deeper into it and let you know how it started. So in 2015, on the 27th of March, I went to Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital to basically start my acne treatment, and it's a public hospital. I really had no qualms with going to a public facility because I had no medical aid, and the reality is a lot of South Africans cannot afford medical aid which then gives them access to private medical attention or private hospital medical attention. So in that instance, I had made peace with the idea that I would spend the majority of my day in a public hospital, but as long as I would be attended to. And luckily on that day, I did receive attention, and the doctor who had I was consulting with looked at my skin and she said, no, we need to get you some help. And I was very excited. A little too excited because I then forgot to ask all the right questions, because upon receiving my prescription till this day, I don't know which medication, specifically the pills, were prescribed to me. So I don't know if I was on Oritin or Accutane, because I feel like we are equally responsible as patients to ask the necessary questions when it comes to the kind of medication that we're getting. What are the side effects and what would happen when I do then experience these side effects? So I really didn't ask those questions, but I did get pills. And then one of the things that were prescribed to me was Cetaphil, which is what I would use to wash my face. And then thereafter I would need to put or apply a benzoyl peroxide cream, which is Benzac AC45 gel, which was very, very harsh on my skin. But I don't even recall using a cream moisturizer, but maybe I've forgotten about it. But I think that's when like the issues were aggravated or became worse, because I did not know or play my part in making sure that I meet, you know, the advice that the doctor was giving me. But I was young and I was very desperate, so, and I'm not making excuses, but I think that I was so eager to solve the problem that I forgot to ask the necessary questions. So how I found my dermatologist was on a Facebook group called Brown Sense. This is basically a platform for Black service providers, and by Black, I'm referring to African, Indian and colored people, to basically showcase their services. And it was on a thread that was posted by an individual who had really just expressed what a difficult time they've experienced in dealing with acne, and they were really desperately looking for somebody to help them fix their problem. And my dermatologist's name came up on several occasions in the similar thread by people who were really lauding and commending the kind of work that she had done in helping them or relatives and friends in dealing with their skin problems. I think it was the universe trying to something, because a couple of days prior to that, I picked up a drum magazine, an old drum magazine, and I went to the health corner, and there was an article or an advice article that she was responding to, like somebody, you know, that those Dear Dolly excerpts or inserts. So she was basically giving advice to somebody about their skin problems. And So I was on leave. It was in January, yes. I was on leave and I made a call to her offices and I made an appointment. And on the 11th of January 2018, I had my first consultation with Dr. Pholile Mpofu. So we don't know what we don't know. And that's the honest truth and just the nature of mankind. And until we do know what we are dealing with, it makes it so much easier for us to make note of it and make sure that we kind of put the necessary measures in place. So until I had interacted with Dr. Mpofu, I did not know that I had nodular cystic acne. And in her prescriptions to me, I actually noted very carefully, even though it's so hard to read a doctor's handwriting, guys, I could make out that I had acne vulgaris. And I just want to read out very quickly to you what acne vulgaris is described as. It is a common chronic disease involving blockage and or inflammation of pilosebaceous units. Those are the hair follicles and their accompanying sebaceous gland. Acne can be present as non-inflammatory lesions, inflammatory lesions, or a mixture of both, affecting mostly the face, but also the back and the chest. So the acne did affect most of my face, or mostly it was on my face only. My chest and back are completely okay. So I know now that I have oily skin, which I did not pay attention to, because some people would be like, oh, I've got a dry skin, I've got oily skin, I've got combination. But upon me consulting with her, she basically said, okay, so your skin problems that can be attributed to hormonal issues, as well as your skin is very oily, so that's why your pores get blocked very quickly. So you should avoid certain products, oil-based ones, because those actually make the dirt build up on your skin, and then that equates to or results in you having these cystic or cystic-like breakouts. Firstly, I would like to stress, guys, by no means am I saying that all these products, you need to use them. If you're thinking of using them and you're having an aha moment, please consult a medical professional, because these were prescribed to me and were very relevant to what I was experiencing and the type of skin that I have and condition as well. So for the first month or so of my treatment, I had to take Tetralysal, which is an antibiotic. Guys, this helped clear my skin in a matter of 2.5 weeks, and it was really noticeable. And one of the reinforcements that I had to do, not compulsory, but I felt like I owed it to myself, was facials from my dermatologist, which would actually help maintain the state that my skin was in. So Tetralysal, I had no side effects that I experienced with it, unlike the current treatment that I'm on, which I'll explain in the follow-up video. But I had to take this, I think, in the mornings and evenings at 300 milligrams. It wasn't that harsh, and yeah, it was very, very active, and the results showed very, very quickly. But other than that, I don't think that I had any problems. Oh, I had to take it on an empty stomach. So my skincare routine, before I was consulting and I was told to use this, that, and the other, I'd always used Sunlight Green Bar. I mean, I've never been very fussy about what soap I used on my face. But upon sitting down with Dr. Mpofu, she said, okay, so you'll need to use Dove. I had like a say what now moment, and she's like, yeah, the cream bar, you know. She said it's got a moisturizer, so that's one thing. And the one thing that I've realized is that when you take any kind of acne medication, depending on what it is and depending on you and how you react to it, but for me specifically, my skin became extremely dry, so I needed all the moisture that I can get, and part of it came from this here baby. I took part in the Ruby Box 6-day challenge, where ladies had to use this, and it couldn't have come at a better time because it was after Dr. Mpofu recommended or prescribed it to me. And I was like, just what the doctor ordered. So I started using this, and I could see the major difference that it was doing to my skin. This is not a prop neck, guys. I do use it, so I just had to put it in the box so that it doesn't look orxies. So yeah, I use this on my face in the morning. So she also laid out a skincare routine because I wasn't sure what would I need to do, what would I need to apply, when and how. And then after using, this is in the mornings, after using Dove, I know this tube looks like it's gone through the most because it has. This is Elidel and it's a benzoyl alcohol cream. She explained very specifically because some people think that applying things in copious amounts means that it will deal with the problem very, very quickly, but you might aggravate the situation. So with me, she said I would need to apply half of the size of a pea on my face. It would be more than enough. And I complied, and it definitely did wonders. And then thereafter, I would need to apply a sunscreen cream. I am an advocate for this right now, guys, because I don't know, I spent all my life not applying sunscreen because black don't crack, hey, melanin, what. Okay, I know I'm light. Okay, I know I'm light, guys, but you get my point. So my doctor basically said black people often don't use sunscreen because we think that we may not be affected by the sun's harsh rays, you know. But she actually painted a whole picture of how it makes sense for one to apply sunscreen, because think about it, when the sun is very harsh outside and it's extremely hot like it does in the summertime in South Africa, the sun the heat that comes inside a structure becomes insulated and retained inside the house, and you do come into contact with it regardless of whether you are inside or outside. So you do need to protect yourself. She also mentioned and she stressed that we need to keep out of the sun between midday and 2 o'clock because that's when the sun is most harsh, regardless of whether it's the winter or autumn time, because now it's autumn. It feels very chilly because it's windy, it's chilly outside, but there's still sun and you still need to put on your sunscreen or put on a hat. So this is the Eucerin 50 plus oil control. It's a sun gel cream that's a dry touch, and it's got that long lasting dry matte finish and anti-shine effect. It comes in 50 milliliters. I've never received it in another big amount. Woo! English. In a bigger amount, but this lasts me almost a month and a half, and I apply it in the morning times. And then we move on to the skincare routine for the evening. I would have to wash my face with the Dove Beauty Bar again, and then apply my Elidel, again half of a pea size. And then this is the next product. It's similar to Benzoyl AC45. It's a benzoyl peroxide. This is what it looks like. It's 30 grams, and I would apply it on my breakouts. It basically dries up my pimples so that I don't have to pop them or scratch them, because that ultimately leads to scarring. And once that is dried up, I would go over my face with hydroquinone, which is a mixture that lightens my marks. I'm not lightening my skin, guys, please don't judge me, but it doesn't help that you fix the acne problem, but you still got those dark marks on your face. So the hydroquinone is essentially there to help lighten my the blemishes on my face. And that's basically what I've had to do in January leading up to February. And that's it from me, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this entry. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe to ThroughEllesEyes. I really hope that this installment of my skin and acne treatment journey was empowering and enlightening, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts and views. Love, Elle. Bye.